Hello, I just wanted to stop by to tell you some news and to continue with my discussion about emotions and why they're harmful. First news, I'm going to be on KKVV, beautiful station in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm very happy I'm going to be on Friday. And the first program is going to be about emotions. What's wrong with emotions? What's wrong with emotions? Well, for one thing, you're too reactive. You react to everything. You don't even realize it. You do when you get a tummy ache, a headache, an eye ache, when you feel anxious, nervous, tense, drained. Yeah, then you know that somehow you've been overreacting. But what you have to see is that you're not supposed to be reacting emotionally. That's animal. Emotions are animal. We humans are supposed to be more spiritually refined. We were created in the image and likeness of our Creator. And what is He? He is love, patience, kindness, forbearance, long-suffering, wisdom, understanding. And as an extension of your Creator, that's what you would bring into the world. Why are you reacting? See, do you see what I mean? In other words, here's a simple little example, but it makes a good point. When you're feeling confident and good, things are good, and the sun is shining and it's a nice day and you're feeling confident, the little things don't bother you so much, do they? You just don't worry about it. If you're in a really happy and you're driving to work and there's a little traffic, you don't care. But how about when you're down, when you're resentful, angry, when you had an argument with your partner, when you got bills that are worrying you or something like that? Then every little thing starts to bother you, doesn't it? Do you notice that? You become more irritable, especially when you're resentful. Any little resentment immediately makes you more sensitive. More sensitive to people, their looks, what they say. Even more sensitive to things, to pollen and who knows what. So, what is that? Well, it's an emotional state. And I want to add another little clue to show you why emotions are wrong. Why you must get my little meditation. It's only 8 minutes long. Learn to stand back and not be so emotional. To become less emotional and less, and eventually not emotional at all. See, Christ wasn't emotional. He was not emotional. He had love, but not an emotional love. He had an agape love. And he spoke the truth, and he was patient, and he was kind, and he did what was right, and he obeyed his Father, and he loved his Father, and he had his work. He wasn't emotional. Now, what another clue as to why emotions are not good? When you become emotional, you fall to a lower level of awareness where thinking is stimulated. In other words, if there's a problem facing the animal, then the animal's brain lights up, trying to come up with a solution, to run this way, to run that way, to fight, to escape, to hide. See? It comes up with some kind of it's like a little computer brain, and it lights up, and it works faster and harder to find the solution. That's what happens to you when you have any kind of emotion. Any kind of emotion means that you are reacting to something on the outside. And since you're reacting to it, it means it got to you. And since it got to you, it's a potential threat of some sort. And if it got to you, it put something in you, an image, a memory, a thought, a notion, a suggestion, a problem inside. And so now your computer brain just automatically steps up and works faster. Even like when you're sick. You could think of sickness as a sort of an emotional state in which your body is feeling all kinds of things, and then what? Delirium, thoughts, endless thoughts. See? Now when things really go bad, then what? You fall into thinking. You walk around thinking all day, what am I going to do? How am I going to solve this? Why did she say that to me? What did he mean by that? How could, see? Endless, endless, endless thought. So now do you see that the more upset, any irritation, you're sitting in your car and there's a delay in traffic. If you become irritated, a little bit irritated, a little bit frustrated, a little bit angry, a little irritated, a little nervous, immediately your awareness is lowered, become more subject to thought. And eventually most people walk around all day because they're a little irritated by that, a little nervous about this, a little exasperated by that, a little excited by this. And they go to work and there's extra work to do, and the boss didn't say good morning, and somebody else got a raise and you didn't. And they're asking you to work longer, and your kid calls and there's some issue, and the teacher calls and you're supposed to go to a teacher conference, and then you have to go to the dentist, and all of these things upset you a little bit, and they all add up until you're walking around in a state where you're submerged in thought. That's it. Your awareness is lowered. It's like the difference between being above the water, looking down on the water, or being submerged under the water. See the difference? Then when you're submerged under the water, you start struggling with all those thoughts and images and everything. What you want to do is come up out of the water, up to where there's beautiful sunlight and the blue sky and the puffy clouds and the breeze. Now you're not subject to all those denizens of the deep. See, when you're down there, you're subject to the denizens of the deep, aren't you? You are. But when you're not down there, when you're above, you see. When you're above, now you're clear of the turbulence of your thoughts. And now you can apply a little bit of reason. You can watch, and maybe a solution will arrive that doesn't involve trying to figure everything out and worry, and trying to solve everything. You see what I mean? So I don't know if I did a very good job of explaining it or not, but I hope I did. I want you to see that, and another term that describes the state of being lost in thought. Daydream, lost in worries, doubts, fears, right? Like we are most of the time, is hypnosis. That's the hypnotic state. The professional hypnotist very easily hypnotizes people. Why? Because they're already, when they come in, they're already hypnotized. They're already a little bit excited, a little bit nervous. And then he or she has with their overbearing presence of authority, that throws most people into, lowers them. It's kind of a threat. They experience emotion, a little bit of fear, a little bit of excitement because of the authority. The overbearing presence is a pressure source. And then he talks, the hypnotist, and gets them thinking. Imagine yourself. See, in some false meditations do the same thing. Imagine yourself on a lake, and there will be swans, and gets you lost in your imagination. When you're lost down there in thought, that's the hypnotic state. And then there, he talks to your mind. And your mind listens, and then your mind carries out what it's told, or what it thinks is the situation. See? Do you understand that the hypnotist, if the hypnotist gets you into the hypnotic state and then you're lost in your thoughts, you see you're not above anymore. See, you forget to do a reality check, or you can't do a reality check. Do you see? And if you don't do a reality check and the hypnotist says, well, it's very cold, then you know what? The person will often start shivering, because that's what their brain said. That's what their subconscious understands the situation to be, and then acts. Do you see that? So you don't want to be subject to thought. You don't want to be subject to imagination. You want to be subject to your Creator. And when you're lost in thought, trying to figure things out, worrying, analyzing, fearing, scheming, excited, nervous emotions, when you're lost in that, you're not subject to God. you're subject to everything else. If you want to be subject to God in His right way, then you want to come out of thought and be above thought. It doesn't mean trying to blank thought or struggle with thought. It means just observe thought. That's the secret. That's what the meditation helps you to do to get you started.